Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Return of Wolverine Omnibus. And I just wanted to say that I'm quite happy with the spines in some sense. So you got this sort of bloody sort of death of Wolverine, which emphasizes death. And then you've got Return of Wolverine in this sort of silver grey, emphasizing light. Down here, red, but they've kept this bit red as well. But you could say, well, he does get his hands bloody. One of my big things about Death of Wolverine that I was disappointed is that it didn't have the 20 issue series of Wolverines in, and I really did emphasize my disappointment in that when that came. I think it came earlier this year, actually. So the fact that we've got these two in quite closeness is pretty decent. But I think Marvel perhaps look at Wolverine and know that a Wolverine Omnibus is perhaps going to sell. So I feel like the traction is there for us to continue getting modern day Wolverine. So if I'm correct, I'm trying to think what's after this. Are we straight into Krakoa? I feel like we may be. I'm not sure if there's a series in between. I'd have to double check, but I feel like this takes us right up to Ben Percy's Wolverine, which is, it's in its own right, could be one omnibus unless they combine it with X-Force, which they could easily do because there was so much sort of little crossovers every now and then that they could achieve that. One thing to say is that in between this we had all new Wolverine, Laura Kinley. So that came into play as she became Wolverine to honor her father. I'm quite annoyed at myself because the dust cover slipped off and I clipped it. Damn, not having a good morning. Anyway, also we had Old Man Wolverine. The biggest thing that irritated me about the death of Wolverine is Wolverine was so overused at that point in everything. X-Men titles, Avengers titles, that most fans had Wolverine fatigue. He was being overused. So the idea was a break, but rather than actually giving us a 2 or 3, 4 year break, they gave us Old Man Logan. All new Wolverine I could deal with because Laura was already a character. And I do like Old Man Logan, but the idea was a break. He was literally very similar to our Wolverine. So there we go. Because basically he's sort of like a future Wolverine. So there we go. So I've got the standard cover. Nice cover. We've seen the spine. And then on the back, Logan's long road back from the grave. You got a little synthesis. So this collects Wolverines 1 to 20. Hunt for Wolverine 1. Hunt for Wolverine weapon loss 1 to 4. Hunt for Wolverine the Adamantium agenda 1 to 4. Hunt for Wolverine the claws of killer 1 to 4. A hunt for Wolverine mystery in Madripoor, where I think Betsy becomes English rather than the Japanese version. She gets her old buddy back somehow. I still don't know how that happens. Wolverine Infinity Watch 1 to 5, and material from Marvel Legacy 1. This written by Charles Soule. So it's about 47 issues. So it's quite a nice chunk of it in there. Then we got the creators. Oh, we got Jerry Dugan in there. I did not realize. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Charles. So they mentioned Charles because Charles delivered the death of Wolverine. There we go. And then this is Jerry Dugan. And Ray Fawkes. Charles Soule is in here still. There's lots of writers in here because there are lots of different stories around around Wolverine's return. Yeah, that's pretty much just the front cover, right? Just in red. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Anyway, lackluster dust cover. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind. I used to love just the standard black underneath the dust cover, but then they started making them fancy. I guess we got a little bit spoiled, and now the expectation is for that spoiling to continue. So let's have a quick look inside. Oh, there's that dust cover piece there. There are all the writers. No chronological detail there. And then we start with Wolverines. So this is literally straight after the death of Wolverine, Logan. And pretty much Mystique brings Sabretooth, Deathstrike, Shogun, who was, and some of the guys that were in the Weapon X program. Laura, Kinley, Fang joins at some point just to find out who was Wolverine's murderer. We sort of learn an told relationship between him and Wolverine, which is actually quite nice. And hence why Daken eventually takes that mantle on. He starts wearing those clothes in the Krakoa era. So it's a good run. I wouldn't say it's the best run, but it's good. And then you got Siphon, who was and Sinister as well in the mix. And let me go back. And then this pretty much ends, and it ends with going into Secret Wars. So when we come back after Secret Wars, we've got all new Wolverine, which I mentioned before, and then we've got Old Man Logan a few months later pops up, and we start we have that for what, about 2 years, I think, and it's about 2018 when we open up at this point. So at the moment, I've slowly been reading Wolverine over the last 2 years, but this year I really wanted to dig deep and get to the end, I guess. And I'm currently on all new Wolverine and Old Man Logan, and then I look forward to jumping back into this, because this sort of time, and I feel like I've sort of read them, but I don't think I took it in very well, because it was split amongst multiple comics. And I still have no idea how he's back. Is he back because Secret Wars sort of happened? I have no idea. So I'm kind of looking forward to reading this again properly as a whole and grasping it, and hopefully enjoying it as well, because I do like stories I enjoy. But yeah, definitely want to understand how Wolverine actually did come back from the dead. I hope that's actually explained it, because I have no idea. Please don't spoil it for me, because I've forgotten. I'm old. I forget things. Especially when, you know, I've got, what, 60 years off, probably, maybe even more, of X material in my head. I cannot remember every exact things. There are things that from X-Men that will stick in my mind quite easily, and there are things that won't. I wanted to get to the end of here. Hey, Ghost Dog. I don't think that's his name. I'm sorry, I'm knocking the thing. Oh, just the end. There we go, just the end. That's it. Nothing. This comes next. Because I think if that was going into Krakoa, I don't think anyone sort of knew other than Jonathan Hickman. So we got all the different covers out of here, which are very, very nice. No, looks like no commentary. There we go. Oh, we got some sketches. There we go. Wait a minute, wasn't there the series with... No, maybe there is a series. Wait a minute. No, there must be. There must be one, because isn't there a series where he has hot claws? Yeah, there must be a series in between this and just before Krakoa Wolverine. There has to be, because he had hot claws, if I remember rightly, and I thought that was bonkers. Don't ask me how long that run lasts. I have no idea. Anyway, hope you like my video. If you have more information about what comes after this, do tell me, because then it's a nice reminder of me. Hey, right, I need to think about that when I finish this. Thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you look after yourself. Very, very important. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to my channel already. And as always, embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.